Ho, 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 everyone. This is Scott from Jenna and Scot Investigate, and we are live on a fine Tuesday evening in December. I'm really tired. You guys tired too? Um, it's been a long year. What's up, Bill? It's been a very long year, and Santa's ready for what comes next. But the elves around Santa's house here are busily making cookies in the bakery in the other room. So if you hear lots of elves frolicking, that's probably what you're hearing. Mrs. Claus, aka Jenna, is down in Santa's workshop wrapping all the wonderful toys and gifts. So while she's doing all that hard work, I get to slip away and get on Facebook Live and chit chat with you fine people. So it's awesome. So thanks for joining us. Again, I'm Scott with Jenna and Scot Investigate, and just been trying to do a weekly update. I don't really have a big agenda. It's just kind of winging it. One of my New Year's Eve resolutions is to put something, maybe a better agenda together, start having guests, and things like that. So we'll get there. It's a work in progress. So I appreciate those of you that have joined us. But wanted to touch base since last we chatted. We've actually went on 2 investigations. We went back to the Fairfield County Infirmary in Lancaster, Ohio. That was last Thursday. I believe that was the 17th. I think I have a calendar for me by now. I've done it. And then this Saturday, we went down to Franklin, Kentucky, and hung out with the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Paranormal team, led by Bill Wilkerson, and explored the Old Stone Jail, which is a very cool place. Um, so yeah, we had two of those that went on, so that was really cool. We Hey Kim, how are you? Haven't seen you guys in a while. We need to get back to Felicity at some point. Get back. I think Kathy popped on here um, last week. I told her, I said I'm missing some of her cooking, so I have to get back up there to her kitchen and get some good old country cooking. We need to make that happen over the holidays. So yeah, so we had those 2 events, and then we're actually guests on a podcast that Into the Paranormal. It's presented by We Are Paradox Media. We're going to be on their podcast. This is coming Sunday, December 27th. We'll be on there from, I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern to 12 a.m. So it's like a radio show. We'll just kind of talk about what we're doing. Everything else. It's hosted by Tessa Nicole Thomas Peterson. You know her. She's part of We Are Paradox Media. So go check them out. There's an invite. There's an event on our page. So go check that out. We'll get Jen on here. She's usually busy for these, and she's not the. I don't mind getting on camera. She's more camera shy. She likes to do more of the investigations and the behind the scenes stuff. And I'm the Ronald McDonald of the group, so somebody's got to be the PR person. Hey Carmel, how are you? So once again, thanks for joining. I'm Scott with Jenna and Scot Investigate. See, 'tis the season. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I have a special guest. It's my dog Cookie. See a picture. And you think this is like being a weatherman. So I have a picture of her. She's chilling out on her bed. Up. She's laying down. She's done for the night. So she's just chilling out, having a good old time. So yeah, we had 2 investigations. So let's talk briefly about. And again, apologies. I still have. We got some new gear that we used at the last 2 investigations. We ordered up some Wi-Fi security cameras, and I'm still digging through the footage on that and trying to get a better understanding of how those work. We set up 3 of those cameras at the infirmary. We also have, so those are security cameras, Wi-Fi. We have the monitor. We can watch them and it records all the video. And we have the CCTV. So we had that set up. We had a a GoPro night vision camera in one of the rooms that ran for, I think, probably about 2.5 hours. So I need to go through that footage. And then when Jenna was kind of peeking at the monitor, she said she was seeing some stuff. Again, go back and look through all that. That's the fun part. I'm guilty of that. You know, sometimes you have the fun of going in and doing the actual investigations, and then sometimes you don't get anything obvious right away. Matter of fact, a lot of times you don't get anything obvious right away. It's basically once you go back and listen to the EVPs and watch the video, you'll find stuff that you either missed completely, and it's just kind of buried. And that's the fun stuff. And we've got a bunch of that. I'm bad about that. It's funny because I'm the video guy. But yeah, I record just about everything, but then it seems like there's always other things that get in the way of watching all that. And I finally got it kind of all cataloged and configured to where Jen and I both can kind of take a stab at that. She'll sit there for hours and go through that stuff. I don't really have the attention span for that. But anyways, we're gonna go through that and see what's going on. But that was a lot of fun at the Fairfield County Infirmary. We basically had to place ourselves. We were there with patients who's a volunteer there, so it was just the three of us. At one point, one of her volunteer buddies showed up for a bit, but for the majority of the night, we were there by ourselves. And I think we were there 6 hours. I think 6 hours, and kind of did a pretty good sweep of the building. Spent a lot of time in what they call the dungeon, which is actually on the 4th floor. Basically, it's the attic. And that's where they used to chain people up that were had a lot of issues, but they couldn't calm down, and they would just chain them up there until they calmed down. So saw some REM pods and stuff going on there, but again, until we actually look at the footage and things like that, it is what it is. So yeah, that was a great time. Looking forward to getting back there again. If any folks on here are interested, please check that place out. Again, it's Fairfield County Infirmary. It's up in Lancaster, Ohio. We're based out of Cincinnati, so for us it's about a 2-hour drive, just east of Columbus, I think Columbus area. So not too bad of a drive for us. So we definitely want to get back there, check that out, and then and I'll touch base on that a little bit. I'll kind of bounce around, but then. The Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky. So Franklin, Kentucky is almost to Tennessee. I believe it might be the last exit on 65 before you cross over into Tennessee. So it's like exit 2 or 3. So it's got a lot of history and stuff down there. The Old Stone Jail was built in the early 1800s, and not only is it a jail with the jailer, so it's got the jailer's bedroom. Has jail cells. We had 12 jail cells, 6 of them we were able to get into. And then, well, I guess technically 7 of them, because the original jail cell. So the building has a separate area. The original building had basically was just one jail cell, and I think one bedroom. And, so there's that. That's where like Confederate soldiers and stuff used to be. And there's actually graffiti when they stripped down the walls and pulled back like the paint plaster. They actually found graffiti, sketches of Confederate soldiers and words and stuff and writings that they'd scribbled all my name. Had to stay in those accommodations. Hey Dory, how are you? Making the moonshine, huh? Happy holidays to you. So we got to do that. There's also tons of historical records. I could have spent. We didn't get to really dig through that, and that really wasn't the intention of going through the books and that. But apparently there was a big fire that happened down there in the city of Franklin, and they lost a lot of records. And I guess when the fire was going on, some people ran into the buildings and kind of recovered some of these, like the ledgers and that. And they've got, see on some of the live feeds I showed, they had like estates records dating back to the early 1800s. They had criminal records, execution records. He even had this one book. It's like idiots records, but it's basically for people that need mental patients. That's the derogatory term they used to use back then. So it was basically everybody from the early 1800s that kind of fell into that category. So that was wild. So that they had all that stuff there, and so they had the jail cells, and it's the old school jail cells where they had the windows and just like slits in the walls, and 3-inch slits. Maybe they're more like 6 inches, and all limestone. So that was really cool. They had like a war museum, so they had artifacts from all kinds of different wars. A lot of it was from people that actually lived in Franklin, so soldiers that had actually their artifacts were there. So there's a lot of personal history tied to that area. Hey Shelly, how are you? We need to get back with the old quality. I keep telling Jenna that. I'm sure she's hit you up. That's the plan for 2021. Since we're talking about jails right now. That was one of the things I was telling Tim, Bill, that Bill Wilkerson, who's part of Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, actually his leader of it, was the jails that we looked at, investigated at. Here's we've got some really good EVP and EMF type triggers down in that, I guess what you guys call the sub basement, where the limestone area where there's no wiring or anything. It was below the actual jail cells, and that we were down there with I think it was Toby and Kristen. Last time we were there, we got a lot of crazy EMF stuff that was responding, things like that. But yeah, so Bill did a great job. He's kind of like the historian for this place, and you can definitely tell he's very passionate about the history of that place. He talked, I believe he grew up in that area. So, it's kind of a labor of love, and the place is wonderful. From a logistics perspective, from a ghost hunting perspective, I mean, it's all wired up for electricity. It's got air conditioning and heat. So it's not like you think, oh, it's an old stone jail, it's going to be out in the environment. No, it's really nice in there. We got a great place to stage. So we hung out with them. Jenna did a lot of EVP sessions with them and some ghost boss sessions with them. A lot of touches. Some of the soldiers and things like that. And they have a music room in there. I can't remember the lady's name. I'm not sure if we ever picked it up. I'll have to get Jenna on here. She's better with that. So they have a bunch of old pianos, and this lady kind of inhabits that room, is very possessive of those, doesn't like people going in there. So we picked up on some activity about her kind of being anxious about me going in there. Again, when I go in those places, I try to be respectful and not do anything that's going to break anything. I try not to touch anything, because I mean, you basically, if you think of these spirits as having some kind of personality, or if you think of them as being once human beings and their embodiments of a soul, it's their home, right? I mean, you wouldn't want somebody just rolling into your house and start picking up your stuff and yelling at you, saying, "Hey, what's your name? Come on out. I want to talk to you." It's like you'd be like, "Get out of my damn house." Some of us might escort them out with a gun. Some of them might be a little bit more subtle than that. But yeah, nobody don't really want people uninvited in there. So try to bring, when we go in there. When we go in these places, we try to, again, if you think of these entities, energies, whatever, as being like human souls and having human personality, and you think about how often some of these places are investigated, again, it would be like people coming to your house all the time. People you don't know just walking in, wanting to walk around. And if you ever sold a house before and you had to do showings, that's kind of how I feel like these ghosts are, right? They're constantly in a state of, what? We can't just chill out, I got to put my pants back on. I can't lay on the couch and just chill out by the fireplace and watch TV. Now I got this ghost hunting team coming in there. Let me guess, they're going to ask the same questions over and over again. They always do. Sorry, guys, I'm not keeping up with the. Hey, Patience, how are you? Sorry, I'm gonna give me a second to look at the. Hey, Diane. Like that. So yeah, hello everybody. I was not paying attention. The comments weren't scrolling, and I was kind of just doing my thing. But anyways, so it can be sometimes repetitive when you come into some of these places because sometimes your ego, you want to be that person or team that gets a reaction, right? Whether it's evidence or things like that. And sometimes it's hard to be creative. I mean, there's teams that will bring in trigger objects. Jenna and I sometimes will bring in, like, if there's going to be kids there, we'll bring in little flashy balls or little some toy trucks or little tin animals and stuff like that. I brought cigars before. Jenna's brought mints. Playing cards is another thing. If you think about, again, if you kind of treat this as these are human souls, and they have some kind of intelligence and they're once human, you kind of can try to appeal to that. So we try to do trigger object stuff. But again, we try to come in, and one of the first things I do is I introduce myself. I try to say, I'm not here to disrupt you any more than I have to. I'm just an explorer. I'd like to hear your story. I'm here to listen. We've got something to communicate and kind of give them some ideas. Just trying to set it up. I guess what it's kind of for me, it's like if it was me and somebody wanted to come in and interview, because it's really kind of interviewing, right? I mean, if you kind of flip the script around, we're basically interviewing the spirits. So if it was me and I wanted to be if I was going to be interviewed, in a perfect world, you'd know what the questions were ahead of time, and you'd make sure you make up in the hair color and whatever. But people are going to just walk in. You kind of want to try to be as comfortable as possible. But getting back to that, so the music room at the Old Stone Jail, she was very particular, and Jenna picked up on that right away. She's like, "You probably shouldn't even go in there." I'm like, "Well, I got at least set the cameras up." So I was very polite. And it wasn't like she was malicious, like demonic, anything like that. I think it was just like, some old crotchety lady that just has her stuff and has it a certain way and doesn't want people messing with it. And if you saw all these beautiful pianos, you could see why. I mean, there was some beautiful furniture in that place. Bill had said that they had this tiger maple chest. We've actually got some tiger maple stuff in Jenna's office, so we love tiger maple. But he said they actually retrieved that. I think somebody had painted it white and he kind of tossed it out, so they were able to get it back and strip it down. I want to say 1820s, 1850s is when that thing was built. They'll have to correct me. I thought that's what I read on that. It's just, not only am I kind of into the whole archaeology of it all, I'm a big fan of woodworking and furniture and stuff like that. So I really can appreciate some fine furniture. Heavy metal Santa, yeah, something like that. You might be able to hear my dog snoring. I don't know how effective this mic is, but if you hear this growl, let me see. That's my dog snoring. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. She's my, so if I'm the Grinch, then she is my, what's the dog's name? Sam. No, Phil, what the hell's the dog's name in the Grinch? Max. It was Max. Pull my Santa card for not knowing that. But, yeah. So, yeah, both places, very cool. Again, thank you, Bill Wilkerson, for basically, I had met Bill before our investigation. He had posted up on, I had followed his team. He does a lot of stuff with the Fearless Ones, which is Diggy from formerly the Tennessee Road Chasers or Road Chasers, whatever those guys are now. But I think most of you guys probably know who Diggy is. And so I'd kind of known, I'd seen them through that. And he posted about going there and was looking for people. And honestly, when I first saw it, I kind of lost track of where Franklin was. There's so many Franklins. There's a Franklin in Ohio, which is right up the street. For some reason, I was thinking it was closer. So, me looking around for locations, I saw that. He was like, hey, does anybody want to come down and hunt with us? And it's like, yeah, we will. And it was like the same day, but it would have been it's like a 4-hour trip for us to go there, and we wouldn't have got there in time. So, we talked for a bit. He's like, hey, I'm going to be back down there next week, and if you're wanting to go, come on down. So, made us feel very welcome. It was a great trip, great place, and still digging through the camera footage on that. Like I said, I know that Jenna got some EVP stuff, and I built so. Not to steal some of Bill's thunder, but if you go to the page, the Whiskey Fox Paranormal, they were using a FLIR or infrared imaging camera, and there was one. I mean, there was lots of like cold spikes, and we didn't have the furnace was turned off at that point. And that place, there's not for it being such an old building, there's not a lot of drafts in it. And at one point, he was like, "Hey, shine that camera on here because it feels like I'm being touched." Pan the camera around. His wife took a picture of that, and sure enough, man, he's got the pictures. I think he posted them online, where you can see on his back it looks like kind of like a handprint down his back, where something that looked like it touched him. So that was pretty wild. We got a lot of the name Robert, which we heard that. But there's a Robert and a Robert Jr. I think that frequently come up. So we kept picking up on the Robert and the dress up. And not sure, never quite got anything conclusive whether or not Robert was a prisoner there. We also were picking up like a nurse doctor vibe. So we're not sure if he was an employee of the jail, or maybe even like the jailer. 9-year-old boy, I think that was Robert Jr. because what Bill was telling us was they picked up on a Robert and a Robert Jr. So I'm wondering if Robert Jr. was, because you're right, there was the boy that they were coming to. And I think when I talked to Bill afterwards, he was saying that Robert Jr. was, I don't think they have an exact age for him, but they thought he was somewhere between like 8 and 12. So that's kind of falls right into that. So that was cool. So yeah, it was a fun week of hanging out with some new people, some people that we consider friends, and have a good time. But yeah, so again, so what do we got the rest of the year? So we got the podcast that's coming up, which is We Are Paradox Media. That is the Sunday, December 27th. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then it'll be, like I said, I think it's 3 hours long. So they're going to get a mouthful from me because I can talk. It'll be funny though because Jenna's going to get on too, so we'll see how much shit we talk. Because I'll just start rambling, as you guys know. I can just keep on. So we'll do that. I think that's pretty much takes it to the end of the year at this point. And then the first thing we've got for next year is we've got post time. I had all this stuff all nice and neat. I should just know this stuff off the top of my head. It's like January. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday in January. Yeah, so January 16th, we're going to be going to Poasttown Elementary School, which if you guys don't know Poasttown, I think most of you do. It's more in the Middletown, Ohio area, so that's 12th Street from us. We're based out of Cincinnati, so that's about 45 minutes. And we're going to bring some friends with us. We'll probably keep that quiet for a bit. We're still kind of working out the details, but we've been teaming up, trying to work on getting some of our friends that are investigators, psychic mediums, everything in between to kind of tag along. More the merrier. Well, typically more is merrier if you've got people that know what they're doing. I mean, we're not really looking at doing like public ghost hunts yet. There may be some type of that stuff down the road. But live, it's Saturday night. This Saturday. What are you doing? Hey, Yolanda, how are you? Yeah, post town when you leave, you believe. So we went there once before, but it was a while ago. And we went like the heat of the summer, and it was just scorching there. So now we're going in the cold, which I almost would rather do the cold. I feel like we get handlings and stuff, and just put on coats and just kind of bear it, do what we gotta do. So it's not too bad. But so we're gonna be heading there, and as we get more details, as I mentioned before, I'd like to start bringing on some guests to chat with. So one of the things I want to do is like if we're gonna do a hunt and we're gonna have teams with us or whoever, maybe have them come on and chat, talk about what they do, things like that. And Jenna had a great idea, and what our Facebook Lives may morph into in 2021. And don't steal my idea, because if you do, not that this idea hasn't been done already, so technically I guess I'm stealing somebody else's. But one of the things we might do is when we go to do our hunts, we'll have like a quick interview if we're doing a hunt with a team. So for instance, like last week when we were at the Old Stone Jail with Bill and his wife, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, we'd sit down and have like a kind of tell us about your team, Bill. How long you've been doing this? What's some of your favorite evidence? What's your favorite gear? What compels you? What do you like about this place? And kind of make it more about them than us initially, and then do the hunt. So if you've ever watched like was it Seinfeld, comedian who's drinking coffee in cars, kind of like that kind of thing. That way people can kind of see, hey, we're all kind of buddies here and we're having a good time and we get along, and it helps raise awareness across the field. Different teams can raise their awareness of what they do, and we can trade ideas. So it's always great to see what other teams are doing. I mean, I'm constantly trying to learn something, and everybody's got different types of gear and what one group uses. For instance, we tend to use the Ghost Box, the Ink Box by Supernatural Ink. That's kind of my go-to. And the Jenna kind of does a lot of spiritual stuff, just kind of from my own perceptions. I got a flashy ball. It is what it is. Which was funny because there was one group I was in where they were talking about. The quote was, "All these people doing I'm paraphrasing, but it was all these people doing Facebook Lives, but they're not really showing any evidence. It's almost like fan fiction." And to that point, I get it. I'm guilty of it. And someone even chimed in and said, yeah, flashy cat balls and all that stuff. So, I'm the first. I have no problems calling myself out. I'm an amateur. I am what I am. But I don't claim to be an expert. And so somebody was claiming that. I said, what? I said, I'm guilty of that. I said, some of my best evidence, quote unquote, I always put evidence in quotes because it's like I've said before, it's a pseudoscience, right? So evidence is kind of, is it really evidence? Because what I get versus what you get, our perceptions may be different. I'm like, yeah, I'm guilty of using a flash cat. I said, I'm also guilty of not going back through my evidence because sometimes I get complacent. And it was a great conversation because it kind of was respectful. It wasn't like people were giving me grief about it. I'm just like, hey, I'm human. Shit happens, you know. It's like you put a flashy ball, you put a ball in a closet, and it suddenly lights up and starts rolling, and there's no perceivable reason why. That's going to get my attention. Again, whether or not it's a ghost, I'm not going to be the first person to jump to it and say, "Oh, it's a spirit." It's like when you see orbs and things like that, they're not. They can, a lot of times they're just dust. Um, oh, that'll be cool. So Dory's going to turn you in. So there was something else that brings something up, Dory, that I was having a conversation with Jenna about. Um, Steve Holton, I think. You guys know who Steve Holton is. He's got something set up where he has a ghost box running to the internet. So on that, he's got like a web page you can go to where this ghost box is continuously running. It's not pre-recorded. It's not a loop. It's literally he's got a powered on ghost box plugged into the internet. So literally you could go on your phone and you could put on that and you could basically have the ghost box. So where Jenna and I started having the philosophical conversation was, so how does that work? Because some of my some thought processes are that the ghost box picks up entities and things in its vicinity. It's picking up like they're manipulating the frequencies that are coming through the radio. So my question to Jenna was, does that mean you're going to be picking? So I can't remember where Steve's based out of, but does that mean you're going to be picking up things that are over where he's located, or are you helping manifest that, or is it a combination? And it kind of both came into the kind of because we start talking about some experiments and this is kind of leading back to Dory, what she was talking about, where you daisy chain those boxes together and you basically make a giant antenna. So in theory, you could run Steve's web page link box into your own ghost box and basically pick up that wherever in the whole area. It's like a larger antenna. Excuse me. So we were talking about maybe trying some stuff like that. But no, yeah, that'd be cool, boy. Remind me about that. We'll definitely try to set something up because that'd be cool. See what we can pick up there. Let's see. Anything else going on? Oh, excuse me. But so that's been our go-to. Just got a new EVP recorder to try out. I don't get a lot of EVP stuff usually. We did have a couple. Jenna's get some stuff that's that's. I know Phil, if you're still on here, Phil Gibson, he's a Park City Paranormal. He's got some. He does a really good job of presenting his evidence. And when they get something, he documents it, puts it out there. There it is. Here's his control. Here's how it was recorded. Here's what was going on. Things like that. He had a pretty cool one. Oh, thank you, James. How are you? He had a really cool one, and Phil is Santa obsessed or Christmas obsessed. For you guys know. So he was doing one, I think maybe about close to a week ago, where he had on a shirt that had Santa Claus on it. And he asked Ghostbox running, and he asked who's on my shirt, and it sounded like a man saying, say it, and then you hear this little kid pulling his face saying, Santa. So that was pretty cool. Phil and I were kind of having a discussion earlier about vetting our evidence and peer review, and I said, well, so the only issue I have with that is that you kind of told your audience what it said without them actually hearing it, so it kind of planted the seed in their mind of what it was. But I'm telling you, if you listen to that recording, it's pretty wild because it sounds like a little kid saying Santa. Now, some people will argue that it's this time of year, the way the ghost boxes work with radio frequencies and things like that, there's a good chance you're going to hear the word Santa on radio frequencies. What's the holidays, right? It might be more compelling evidence if it happened outside of the season. But again, it was still really cool. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. I love how you guys all like have your own little thing going on. It's awesome. So I can just kind of go over and everybody saying hi and what's going on. And with this little happy family. So yeah. But again, so that's like I said, we did 2 last week, which were really cool. And it just keeps going up, and I think as Dory mentioned, we are past the 1,100 like marks. We're close to it. I don't know how many we got now. We're close. I remember thinking, man, if we ever get to 1,000, that's going to be awesome. We're going to be rock stars. And got a shot past that, so that's awesome. So now I got to come up with the next goal. Still need to get some more YouTube subscribers now, but it's happening. And I'm trying not to be very, very annoying with it, so I apologize if you get a lot of stuff from us. I want to provide content that's you want to check out, but also I'm trying to build a page, and there's a fine line between being shove it down your throat. Go like everything. You must like, because I get a lot of that too. And you just even when you add friends, or you immediately turn around and, hey, go look at my page. I try to. Sometimes I get impatient. I usually try to give it a little bit of a. If somebody wants to add to me as a friend, maybe you don't get them like our page for a day or two. It just seems like it's in poor taste to be like somebody adds you as a friend, and you immediately like, hey, go like all these pages. And for those of you that have shared our page to other people, we really appreciate that. We don't really want people to feel like they have to do that. We want them to do that because they feel like what we have to offer is something that their friends would enjoy. Because again, there's tons of content out here, especially paranormal. I mean, there's lots of people out here doing what I do that prettier and more intelligent and have better content. They don't probably have as cute of a dog as I have. Yeah, I got no problems using a dog for this. I figure I pay for their food. It's the price they pay. I try to be Dory. Um, I think anybody that thinks that they're some kind of rock star or celebrity, and I say sometimes I'm a rock star jokingly. I hope that you guys, when you hear that, you know that it's a wink wink thing. I think some people get in their own heads, and I saw this a lot when I was in bands. It's just kind of always stuck with me. It's like I feel like when you're more genuine and you're sincere, even if you maybe aren't, it's not all about drama and this and this and intensity. I feel like that is refreshing. I like real people. I don't like fake people. And paranormal, the whole whatever you want to call it, genre, field, whatever, lends itself to there being fake stuff because nothing's really proven. And some of it's fake, not because people are trying to be fake. It's just not been proven. Now, there are some people that like to take advantage of people. In my experience, I haven't met a lot of those. But, not every person that's a paranormal investigator or a medium has the best intentions. There's people out here that are basically all about just, I want to be on camera. I want to get a bunch of likes, and maybe I can get on the Travel Channel and get some kind of cool TV show. So, to me, that's delusions of grandeur. In my days of worrying about being on TV and all that stuff. I'm cool to sit here with you guys, shooting the shit, having a good time. I wish I had. Sometimes I feel like I'm just rambling, but that's me. I will always try to give it to you guys straight. You may not be what you want to hear, but I try to be diplomatic. I don't have a lot of haters, but usually the ones that are usually the ones that hate everybody. So it's like, yeah, yeah, too many want fame and fortune, and I'm I'm new to the game, but if you think you're gonna make money, fame, and fortune off doing Facebook Lives now, you got another thing coming. Because even some of the guys that have been doing this for years and have tons of followers and that are getting donations and things like that, yeah, they're making a pretty decent amount of money, but I'm pretty sure they're not living off of it. They're not living off of it. This is most of the time it's people are just passionate what they do. And for Jen and I, like I've said before, it was kind of like, hey, we like to travel, we like to check out that spooky stuff. Um, that's how it started. Her and I, we started going on some of these public ghost hunts and met some people. It was like, hey, we did this. And we'd like to get more into this and get away from the public stuff, just because so we have more time to do our own thing. And the public stuff, if you've been on the public investigations, it's more to it. Okay, we're going to spend 10 minutes in this room, and 10 minutes in this room. You get an EVP, or you get a EMF detector, and you get this and this and this, which is a great start now. It's a great way to check out some of these places because it's not a huge amount of money to start. But nothing beats just going to these places and having full rain for 6, 8 hours or whatever. And if you can find places that are kind of off the map that aren't that popular, that's even better. But again, not every spooky house in the woods somewhere is haunted. So it is what it is. But, yeah. So Jenna calls me a humble bumble sometimes, which is a reference to the Bible sermon on Rudolph. That's usually when I'm grumpy and haven't eaten. Like, probably to mimic me like you come Cornelius. I'm going to look more and more as the years progress. It's going to be look more like Santa. So we're going to be. So yeah, I don't know if I've been on here. I have rambled for 42 minutes. Again, I think I've told you guys this before. I usually 11:36. Are we really that? Yeah, that's something. Maybe you guys are smarter than I am. So I was telling Jenna, I said we have more followers than we have likes, and to me that seems like it should be in reverse. Because the way I understand how Facebook works is if you follow a page, you will then get notifications and whatever. It's like it shows up in your feeds. If you like a page, that's basically now you're someone that's in that number of likes, but you can turn off the follow and not get notified. So what I would expect to see is more likes and less followers, where people are like, hey, I don't mind liking a page, I don't want to get all the notifications in it. So I would expect that number to be less. Ours is actually the other way around. So I haven't dug into all the behind the scenes metrics and all that stuff, but I just felt that was interesting. And for any of you that have your own pages out there, I'd be curious to see if that's how yours is too, and if you've kind of got an explanation for that. Because to me, I kind of take it as that's cool. That sounds, I would think, what the articles I read say it's more important to have followers than likes, because the followers are the ones that are actually basically saying, we want to see what you have to offer, we want to see your content. Where likes is just like, oh, I'll give them a like, and then I'll forget it. So, cool. Well, I'm not going to take any more of your time. I'm going to go down and help Mrs. Claus in Santa's workshop. She's been down there wrapping presents, all that sort of thing. So you guys can give me your opinions on this. Um, I told Jenna this year. I said for Christmas, this whole year's just been draining. I know it's been draining for everybody. So wherever I can be more effective with my use of time. So one of the things I did for the Christmas presents that I bought is instead of getting gift wrap, I bought gift bags. So I bought tons of really pretty gift bags. I mean, they're not like just like grocery store bags that you get groceries out of. And here you go, kids, or things wrapped in newspaper. I actually went and bought the fancy gift bags with the pretty little bows and winter scenes or whatever. They weren't cheap. I told Jen, I said, you know what, this year I'm not going to wrap anything. I don't sit there for hours. And I just don't have the patience. And Jenna's like, she'll be up there with rulers and cutting 90 angles and doing the whole little, like an elf where she does the ribbons with the scissors and they're going to be 6-inch curls and all that. Man, it's like, I've bought you a present. Here it is. Enjoy it. Don't get cocky. Or make sure you just get cold. But so I went through and I was probably had everything wrapped. By wrapped, I mean basically thrown in tissue paper, dropped into a bag with the person's name, who it's for, on the tag on the gift bags. I probably had that done in like 15, 20 minutes. And perspective, maybe 20, 25, 30 gifts. Which is, that was awesome. So I'm done. Jenna, on the other hand, is downstairs right now. She started her initial wrapping. So if it takes her, if she, knowing her how I know her, and knowing that when she did the Christmas lights on the Christmas tree and how she had that perfect, that was like a 4 to 6 hour process. So I wouldn't be surprised if she spends 4 to 8 hours wrapping her gifts. Now, she's probably got, where I had 20 or 30, she's probably got maybe double that. So I give her that. But yeah. At the end of the day, it's a present. It's a present. She was all right, but she's very much in the spirit of Christmas. And I want to see people unwrap and rip open the gift wrap and see what's going on and all that kind of stuff. Me, I'm more like, you know what? I didn't buy you a gift card. I bought you something that I had to think about. So, enjoy it. Just, and then the gift bag is suitable for using later. Or a gift wrap paper, you tear it off and it's gone. Now you just, and again, most of it's recyclable, but you still kind of, pretty sure gift wrap paper that's recycled isn't as efficient on the environment or better on the environment than a gift bag that you can reuse all over again. So, anyways, that was my my continued rambling about Christmas. So I'm gonna go out and help her and see how she's doing with that. We got some elves in the bakery in there making sugar cookies, so I'm gonna see if they need some help taste testing, and maybe go from there. But again, we're gonna, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna do a live next week. I'm gonna see. Probably gonna skip it. Holidays coming up, everything. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. It might be kind of a last minute thing, but definitely check out the radio show. And I'll have to double check. I think they pre-record that. I'm not sure if it's live, but if it is, I mean it'll be on the event. I need to do that more on that. But I believe that's just a strictly audio call that you go on and you can stream it. So again, as Dory has put on here, keep the moon shining. That's where if you see those moons coming up, and again, that was kind of an early on joke that stuck. A friend of ours, Eric Connor with Epic Paranormal, likes to do put fire in the chat, so he has fire. Excuse me, I jokingly said we need some kind of catchphrase like that. I don't know if I had bent over on Facebook or something, and there was a moon involved, and that's what happened, or there's something else, but apparently Dory and Jenna have an inside joke about that, so that's what we're going with. So keep the moon shining, keep your spirits high, and hopefully everybody has a great holiday, and onwards and upwards to the next year. And I will see you soon. Again, this is Scott with Jenna and Scot Investigates, and thanks again for watching. Appreciate all the shares and support. Have a great holiday. Take care, everybody.